So this week, I'm going to bring you guys an interview that I did with Cory Boatright, a really good friend of mine. I've known for over 3.5 years now. We're in the Collective Genius Mastermind together. He's got a podcast called Real Estate Investing Profits, and he had me on there. He asked a lot of really good questions, and I'm going to share the highlights of that interview, even though the whole thing was great, but right now with a little I Love Real Estate Stories spin on it.
Well, let's talk about one of the ways that has been working for you. One of the real successful, what we call our profit master investing strategy. Can you share that? What's been just knocking out of the park for you? One of your big strategies is making you a lot of dough.
Yeah, and this might be different than most people share there. I mean, it's like, call it single tasking marketing strategy, because basically what we do
Wait, say single tasking marketing strategy.
Yeah, single tasking marketing strategy. And here's what it is, right? You find one single task, one marketing piece or marketing channel that's going to work for you, right?
Okay.
And you start doing it, like direct mail, for example. If you're going to start direct mail, take that single task and do it persistently and consistently over time and track it.
I got you. So instead of jumping from shiny object, even in marketing, right? You're talking about master one method of marketing and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, because people always ask me, what's the best thing? And I would say the best thing is this single tasking marketing strategy of take one thing, employ it, make it work for you. Like if it's mail and absentee owners, make it work for you, do it consistently, persistently over time, and don't stop. And then once you've mastered that and you're still going with that, keep that plate spinning, then add another single task, which might be bandit signs, right? Then add another single task. But don't jump from, I tried absentee mailers, and now I'm going to try bandit signs, and now I'm going to try a website. Get one thing down, make it work, then add another, then add another. So take that single task of marketing, that strategy, and keep adding stuff on top of that. And then you'll have this army of things that are working for you, but you've never stopped doing them. And I see lots of real estate investors that start something and jump everywhere. And that's just not the way to do it. You got to be persistent and consistent at the stuff you're doing.
You know, it's so fun. You and I coach, real estate investors. Some of them are really experienced. Some of them are just kind of starting. And what do you think is one of your single task marketing strategies working best right now?
Direct mail is still working extremely well. I mean,
you can really turn the faucet on and turn it off. That's what's nice about it, right?
Absolutely. It's scalable. You can
go into different states.
Absolutely. Going in a different state, it's scalable. That's what it is. Absolutely direct mail. If you're not doing direct mail, then you don't have a consistent lead flow. You don't have a consistent real estate business.
So you go into a different state, your probably idea is what's the MSA, right? What are we looking at for how many rooftops? And then what are the rooftops that we're actually going to start targeting that's going to give us results? So someone that's highly probable of having a motivation to sell their property at a reduced cost, not for retail, but a reduced cost, a motivated seller. And then from there, you probably already have a marketing piece that's already working in another state, and you probably use that similar marketing piece, probably change a few things to make it cookie cutter for that state that you're in, right?
Yep.
And then you probably have the same phone system that you're running leads to that people are taken. Now, do you have people boots on the ground that you partner up with real estate agents or wholesalers, or do you have how do you kind of set up that little infrastructure when you go into another state? I think people are interested in knowing that.
Yeah, and that might be one of my unique strategies as well, because you said virtual wholesaling earlier, and I kind of cringe a little bit at that.
Yeah.
So when people talk virtual wholesaling, some people will just do everything on the phone, or some people will partner with wholesalers. I have a totally different strategy. So I have an acquisition manager on the ground in every market I'm in. So only one person is actually in the market, but they're knee to knee with that seller. They're going to close deals. They've got that personalized presence. They're there. But everything else, meaning marketing, answering phone calls, dispositions, all that other stuff is handled in one location in my back office, because you can be virtual that way, right?
Right.
So that's what it is. The person answering the phone, she's answering the phone here in Utah, but for lots of different states.
Sure.
Asking the same questions, and she's entering in our same CRM, and she's just tagging the rep in that state to go work the lead. And people think we're in their state, and we are, but not all of us are.
Sure. And how do you find that acquisition manager? I mean, you don't even live in that state, right? So what's the process? Do you build relationships with students? Do you build JV partnerships there? Do you find wholesalers and say, you suck at marketing, so I can help you and bring you a bunch of leads? You find a real estate agent that, is not an A player, but a really great B player, so they actually listen to you and they're hungry. How do you kind of facilitate that?
I would say all of those things are great strategies, and all of those things would work. my number one strategy that's worked, besides those things, I've used some students before.
Yeah.
I definitely will co-wholesale with wholesalers in there. But to find somebody who's going to be loyal to you, that's actually like really good, that's a rock star, search your warm network, friends and friends of friends, Facebook and other things like that.
Sure.
To find a good person. Like, you're looking for a rock star salesperson.
How much you asking for it?
1,800.
Starting at 18.
Yeah, starting.
How come you're selling it?
Oh, I'm moving to Paris.
Yeah. Just sit here, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, it looks pretty good. Had good rubber on it.
It's like new.
Yeah.
Right. Like a Kirby sales guy, right? I came from that. Or
Cutco, Kirby.
Cupco, Kirby, a telemarketer, probably really good. Maybe a collection person that's really good on the phone and talking to people, good people skills.
Amazing people skills. That's a closer. That's just a good salesperson. Because my best salespeople, they have no real estate experience.
Wow.
They're just salespeople. And we teach them, the salespeople, they've got 90% of what it takes to do this business. And then you just add the 10% that's real estate knowledge. Like literally one of my salespeople, they were like, they were closing deals. And they'd come back to me and ask me questions like, hey, Andy, this seller asked about escrow. I have no idea what escrow is. What's escrow? Like, they don't know these things, right?
That is incredible. That is incredible. You're actually educating your top acquisition manager on escrow.
Yeah, they're like, what's earnest money? What's escrow?
I love
it. Contract. Like, they don't know that stuff. All they know is I say to them, look, go there, build a rapport, do what you do, and get them. We need to buy this thing at 80 grand or less. Right. And they're like, got it. That's all I need to do. I'm good.
That's it. Just make sure you walk away with a contract for 80 grand. That's it. And you're good.
They're like, I don't need any more information. Just let me know that. That's a good salesperson can do that. They're going to go talk to them, build a rapport, work them through the process, and that's all they need to do.
That's pretty simplified too.
Yeah, I think we got a deal.
So you kind of declutter all of the extra frills that it would be cool whenever you think about a good acquisition manager, right? They need to know all this, the contracts, they need basically, you kind of think about this rock star real estate person. You actually, it sounds like you think about the opposite. Maybe a person that hasn't even dealt with real estate, but they're a great closer. They have good people skills. And are you finding those people on Craigslist? Are you finding them on, how do you recruit those people?
2 of my 3 acquisition managers came from just friends of friends and like referrals.
Okay. Right. From your social medias. Right. So hire from within.
Yeah, absolutely. Hire from within.
Do you pay them on commission or is there some type of draw or some type of base?
Commission.
Gotcha.
Commission.
Wow.
We'll give them like a revocable draw too. So we'll give them like, what do they need to live? So we'll give them that to get started. Sure. It generally takes about 60 to 90 days to have their deal they signed up come to like cash, right? In the wholesale world.
Sure.
So we get them started there. But what I was going to tell you, I kind of view like my real estate business as more like the Henry Ford, like assembly line process. Because the people, like the person answering the phone is an expert at that. The person that's doing my marketing is an expert at that. My acquisition person is an expert at that. They're not expert at dispositions. They're not expert at transaction coordination. They're not expert at answering the phone. Each person has their individual role. They do it over and over and over again. But I don't expect one person to wear every hat. I just expect them to wear the hat they're good at, crush that, and let everyone else deal with the rest. So that's what I've been good at.
That's perfect, man. Love that. Great tip. And I can see why it would be absolutely crushing for you too. What's one advice that you'd share for running a really successful real estate business?
Oh, goodness. Recognize that everything's not, you might think people listen to this podcast that Cory's business or Andy's business is perfect. It's absolutely not. We're all making it up as we go along. And there's this thing I call the real estate roller coaster. There's the highs of highs when you cash a huge check. And then there's the lows of lows when you feel like I haven't got a deal in a month, right?
So true, right.
But just recognize that it all evens out. And the highs recognize there will be lows, and the lows will recognize there will be highs. If it works for somebody else, if what one man can do, Andy or Cory or anybody else that's making this successfully, you can do it too. Just keep doing what the successful people are doing, and you will have success. Keep persisting.
Right. I'm trying to think of this movie where Anthony Hopkins said, "What?"
The Edge.
The Edge. That's right.
What one man can do, another can do. What one man can do, another can do. And again. What one man can do, another can do. And again. What one man can do, another can do. Yeah.
What one man can do, another can do. I love it.
One can do, another can do.
I love it. All right. So if you had to start all over, all right, you had to start from the beginning, what would you change? Well, maybe some advice for a new person.
Yeah. 2 things. If I had to start all over again, I would change this.
Because you've been, mindset, right? You've been doing it for 13 years, right? So like Now, it's almost taken how old are you, Andy?
I'm 35.
35, young 35, telling this, what was that be? 22-year-old, something like that, right? Of what's going to happen, what's going to happen. So you change your mindset.
If I could get in my time machine and go back to myself at 22 years old when I just got started and have half a day with myself, I would just say, look, elevate what you think is possible. Elevate what you think is possible. Because what you think is possible right now.
What does that mean?
Totally wrong.
What does that mean?
Raise your sights. Like you think right now.
If you're going to shoot for here, shoot for the moon instead.
Yeah.
So then if you don't hit the moon, you'll at least hit where you.
I would say to myself,
halfway.
I would say, Andy, 22 years old, Andy, hey, what's possible for you? And Andy, 22 years old, Andy would say what's possible. And I would say, okay, that's true for you right now, but that's absolutely not true. It's actually a lot bigger than that. And I would say, and here's how I can tell you how much more you can get, right? The next piece of advice, second, is go surround yourself a lot with people who are doing more. That guy that I said was flipping properties.
What are you doing, Steve? Oh, my goodness.
Be around him more and find 3 or 4 other guys like him.
Right.
Surround yourself with them earlier and elevate your thoughts because they'll elevate your thoughts and you'll do more faster. Because
right. Yeah.
I was my own glass ceiling. I was a victim of my own glass ceiling because whatever I thought was possible, I would hit that. Yeah. But I wouldn't go above that because it wasn't possible.
Right.
But that was all a lie. It was just something I was telling myself.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's fantastic advice. And what's a book that you recommend? Maybe one that's really changed your whole life.
Dude, I read a lot, so there's a lot of books. Like category. What category do you want?
I mean, let's go with business, right?
Okay, I'm going to rattle some off. Business. I mean, it depends on where you're at in your business life, right? Everybody's a different spot. A book called Traction by Gino Wickman. That's phenomenal for anybody's business. That helps you get control of your business, right?
Right.
Traction's a phenomenal book. Life books, though. Jim Rohn. Leading an Inspired Life.
Oh,
that's phenomenal.
Anything with Jim. Anything with Jim Rohn is so phenomenal.
But Leading an Inspired Life, if you just want one book from him, it's got like a good summary of all this stuff. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, but he kind of copies Jim Rohn, but he's got a good spin on it. I like his stuff. The One Thing by Gary Keller is awesome. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
Yeah.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
One of my favorites. Yep.
The Richest Man in Babylon for just like personal finance stuff. Like you need to live that and you'll always be fine financially. Real Estate, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. That's a phenomenal book. Negotiating. There's a really good book on negotiating. The Secrets of Power Negotiating by Roger Dawson. Phenomenal book. Time Management. I love Dan Kennedy. Anything by Dan Kennedy is really good. I love his style of writing.
The No BS, all the No BS books.
No BS Time Management for the Entrepreneur is phenomenal. But all of the No BS books are good. I love his writing style.
Right.
But there's just a few of them. But like, I love reading. But those books are like anybody that if you go on Amazon and get all those books, I promise you will not be disappointed.
I'll say get them on Audible because it's a different medium. So read them and listen to them, at 2 to 3 times speed because it actually helps you retain it more. You can study that, but it's awesome. Out of all those, would you just say which one's your favorite?
My favorite book. That is so tough. Because in what category, right?
Right.
If you're talking personal, like development stuff, I would say, just because you said How to Win Friends and Influence People, I would say if they're going to read that How to Win Friends and Influence People will give you like these things that you should do. The higher law of that is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Because if you read that, it'll give you some tasks to do, but it'll also say you need to change as a person. Because when you say the How to Win Friends and Influence People will say, remember somebody's name. Right. That's the sweetest sound to them, like Cory. You keep saying their name. Hey, Cory, how you doing, Cory? And I remembered your name. You're important to me. But the 7 Habits will tell you, be the type of person that cares deeply about others you meet. So if I care deeply about you, Cory, I'm going to remember your name. The reason you forget somebody's name is, frankly, you didn't really care at the time.
Right.
If I'm the type of person that cares about you, if that's my character, that's my inner core, if that's who I am, then I'm naturally going to do those outward things. So I think the 7 Habits is kind of like that higher law. That's just a phenomenal book if you live that in your life.
And whenever you get to a place where someone feels like they like and know you, and the trust kind of naturally starts to come out too, you can be surprised how quickly you can build that rapport. Would you agree with that? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that all stems from when you care about somebody. You're not just going to ask their name, but you're going to say, "What's up, Cory? Like, what are you doing? What's important to you? What are you excited about right now?" Right.
And they're going to tell you those things. I'm going to find out that your mom's important to you and your relationship with her and your Sunday dinners with her. And say, okay. And I'm going to start to understand you more. And you're going to wow, Andy really cares because he listened to me and he cared about what I do with my mom on Sundays, you know? So,
and you do, because I do spend every Sunday with my mom every time I'm in town.
Yeah, it's just an example of something that's true, though.
Very much appreciate you saying that, and testament to you listening. What's a morning routine? Do you have a morning routine?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a morning routine. I try to wake up every morning at 5:30. I come down here. I'm actually in my theater room because it's quiet.
Yep.
I come down here every morning. The first thing I do is I pray. Then I write my goals from memory. So I write them down every morning on a yellow pad. There's 15 of them, and I write them all from memory every morning.
Wow.
After I do that, I read, and I read the scriptures first. So I'm reading the scriptures for 30 minutes every day. And then I go exercise. So I'm going to run a marathon this year. So 4 days a week I'm running.
Why are you running? Are you doing this for world peace?
Are you doing this for the homeless?
Are you running for women's rights? Why are you doing this?
I just felt like running.
You know, I'm running mileage. And if I'm not doing that, then I've got a gym. So I'm working out here a little bit too, but that's it. Simple.
And your family, how does that affect with what you going on with your family and your kids?
My kids wake up around 7:30. So from 5:30 to 7:30, I do that thing. I'm upstairs showered and I cook them breakfast. So that's the other morning routine. At 7:30 to like 8:15, I'm cooking my kids breakfast. I walk them to the bus stop. And then after that, I've got another 45 minutes before I walk into my home office and just start doing whatever I'm doing for the day.
Everybody's still crashed out. Wife is still crashed out. Kids are still crashed out. Andy gets up, get into your routine, pray, go through your goals, go take a run. Now you're energized. Come back, shower. Now you do the breakfast for your kids. Now you've got your stuff done. That's most important to be the best you can be. And now you're also fulfilling family duties. That's not being neglected.
Yeah.
I love it. That's really cool.
And I spend a ton of time with my family because I work from home. So that
Sure.
morning routine I do with my family. But I turn off my stuff. I put my phone on airplane mode at like 5:30 every night. And I eat dinner with my family every night. I read my kids stories every night before we go to bed. They would play with toys like that. It's made out of tin. And all the animals went around this ringmaster guy. And they went up and down and they made music. What did you guys think of that story?
Great.
Great. What did you think of it, grandson?
Good.
Good. Just good? Okay. Maybe we'll tell you another story some other night.
That's cool.
I put them down, 8 o'clock at night, like they're down, and I would spend a decent amount of time with my family. It's important to me.
Let's roll into what's a greatest lesson that you've kind of learned to help you get to where you are today, Andy?
We kind of gone over it already in the podcast. It might be a little theme here, but your thoughts, the power of your thoughts.
Mindset.
Mindset. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, sow a thought and you reap an action. So an act and you reap a habit. So a habit, you reap a character. And so a character, you reap a destiny. But it all starts with a thought. So sow a thought. It's what you think about most of the time is going to be your reality. It's going to be what you get. So be careful of the story you're telling yourself. We've talked about this. Yeah. We've all got a story we tell ourselves, and those are the thoughts in our mind. And that thought in your mind right now is absolutely contributing to who you are and who you will become. So make sure you change that thought. If you want a different outcome, start it right here. Change your thoughts.
So powerful. To add to that as well is not only the words and the story we're telling ourselves, that contributes, as you said, to how we are and how we feel about ourselves, but we actually create a picture of who we are. And if the picture of who we are not just contributes, it controls you. It actually controls you. And it's really important to change that picture. And so see the person that you want to be, not the person necessarily that you see yourself at this person of lack or maybe instability or something that everybody has their shortcomings, but see the person that you want to be. And then that picture will control you. But if you keep seeing yourself as this person that's kind of incapable and lack and always going, not hitting the mark, and then you're telling yourself, oh man, dang, I didn't do it again. So now you reinforce that image of who you are. It's just going downhill.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So what are you most grateful for, Andy?
All right. I'm going to give you a specific answer. I'm going to give you a wide one than a specific one, okay? I am so extremely blessed in my life. I have everything I could ever want. And as Dave Ramsey would say, better than I deserve and more than I deserve, for sure. But I'm most grateful for, and not to be too, I don't want people get freaked out when you're talking religious stuff, but I'm most grateful for grace. And what that means to me is that's the enabling power of Jesus. Basically, from what he did for us, I have the opportunity every day to screw up, mess up and pick myself up at the end of the day, dust myself off, and know that I'm okay. I can learn from that experience and not be damned by it, but move forward for it. So I'm grateful for that enabling power in my life to change and grow and develop. And I've got that opportunity every day. So that's what I'm most grateful for.
That's awesome. I love that, man. What point would you recommend hiring a coach or a mentor? How important has that been in your success?
Don't hire a coach until you want to be successful.
I like that. I like it. That's great.
Really, you are who you surround yourself with. And if you want to be with really successful people, unfortunately, actually too, they have constraints on their time. And it's a two-way street. They need to have a reason to want to help you to become successful. So I play tennis, and I've hired a tennis coach because he's good at it. And for him to hit with me once a week and we play, like, I need to pay him for that time. I help people with real estate stuff, but I can't tell you how many people text me, Facebook me all the time. It's like, hey man, can I get a quick phone call with you? And it's like, that's not really respecting my time, right? If they're serious, people that pay attention. People that don't pay attention.
So true. Yep.
As soon as you want to be successful in anything, find someone who is where you want to be and do what it takes to get their time. And a lot of times that's paying them for it. And if they're not a paid coach, you need to do something that's going to add value in their life.
Yeah. Make a contribution.
Be
a value adder. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I did for a long time coaching for kind of pro bono, and we'd split deals. Nobody works, because there's no sense of accountability. There's no sense of pain. I think actually pain's a good thing. You can associate pain with good things to kind of push you harder. Think about when you go to the gym, when you start to actually grow your muscles is when you start to feel the pain.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to kind of look at those two things, but people that do pay, they do pay attention, and they get things done. If you had to summarize it, why do you do what you do? Why do you get up in the morning? What's this drive that says, I've got to get up, I've got to do this? What is it? Why do you do what you do?
The easy answer is like my family and all that stuff. And that's true. That is my why. But here's a couple of things. One, personal growth. You mentioned that there. It's that pain. It's the hard things we go through, like lifting or whatever that drives that growth. If you're not pushing yourself, then you're not growing. But two, I would say service. I want to be of service to people, whether that be my family, friends. I want to have an impact. I want to have a positive impact because that's going to help me personally in my growth. And that's also going to have a positive effect on the world. And I feel like when you're in the service of other people, you're serving God and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that's important to me, just serving and personal growth.
Serving and personal growth. I love that. Andy, how can we serve you, right? How can we help you? What can we do to kind of help you achieve what you want to achieve for this year or beyond? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about this project. It's a video project. I've got a YouTube channel. It's called I Love Real Estate Stories.
Yeah, it's great.
I love real estate stories. And that's a little project that I do with my brother. And you know this, Cory, because we've been a Collective Genius together for years. But I started this a couple of years ago, and it's a passionate project I've got with my brother. We're putting together awesome videos about my life as a real estate entrepreneur, but it's a way that I can serve and have a good relationship with my brother all the way. I'm like, pulled it out. But I'm also serving more people beyond him. So it's really important to me. I put a lot of emphasis and passion into that. So anybody that goes there, I'd love for people to watch the videos. I know you're going to get good stuff out of it, and make a comment or shoot me a message from iloverealestatestories.com. And that's how you can get in touch with me. And I would appreciate any feedback. And, I get positive comments from that, and it really makes us go. Like my brother puts all of this passion into these videos.
They're so good. Yeah. And you can tell the quality is just really great.
And when we get these messages, and we do from time to time, a lot of lurkers, but you get the people that say, hey man, this affected me. And when I hear that, that's the juice that keeps me going.
If you guys liked that, I linked Cory's podcast, Real Estate Investing Profits, in the notes here beneath this video. So I want to encourage you guys to go check it out. Cory's a really good guy. He asks a lot of great questions of people and gets good information out of them.